Texas, starring Beverly McKinsey.
Would you like to tell me where we're going?
I'd like to tell you where to go, but I always do what my Aunt Vicky says do.
I'm glad. You're a wonderful niece.
Oh, can it if I had my choice?
You'd put me on that road. Sam! What's your problem with me?
That's a good question.
No, I'm serious. I needed a job. I like this one. Sports is my thing. You seem to think I've done you dirt.
Look, I'm used to hiring my own people. I don't like a new reporter pushed into the middle of my operation, especially when...
Especially when? What? If we're gonna get along, we have to clear the air.
All right. Okay. Especially when the only reason I got saddled with you in the first place is because you're an old flame of Rena's.
That flame burned out a long time ago.
Look, I couldn't care less. If I piled all of Rena's old flames in a heap, it'd look like the Chicago fire. But that does not entitle you to a job in my operation.
Things weren't quite that simple.
Okay, all right. Where have you worked? Where have you done sports? Newspaper? Radio?
I've never done this.
Okay. So here you come, Mr. Sports Reporter. I have kids who have worked years and never even seen the other side of a camera.
I'm not a kid.
No, you're not. You're my new sports reporter. Come on.
You're really hung up on this. You're not gonna let it go.
I'm not gonna bug you. At least not if you can do your job. But it really hits me hard. There goes Rena, flitting from place to place, remaking everyone's world. So good when she was out of Houston. Maybe you didn't think so.
I wasn't here. I haven't been here in a long time.
Well, welcome back to Rena's playpen. Come on.
What are we gonna do?
Oh, didn't I tell you? You are going to narrate the Harris County stock car races.
You're kidding.
Oh, no, that's the first one out of the bag for you, Mr. Sports Reporter. But I'm sure you know everything there is to know about auto racing.
Well, nobody knows everything.
It is bet they know. Are you ready?
What can I say, boss? I guess I'll just have to do my very best.
Here. Mr. Wheeler, what are you doing in my father's house? Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Calm down. Come on.
Did you come to pick the bones? That's it, isn't it? You want to make sure there's no trace that Mike Marshall ever existed.
Dawn.
Oh, don't you see, Dennis? The great Alex Wheeler can't stand for there to be any reminder that my father was a bigger man than him. Well, Mike Marshall will always be a bigger man than you. You...
Is this Mike Marshall's house?
Dawn, I'm sorry you feel this way. We'll go. Come on, Iris. We'll see the rest later.
What did you want here, anyways? Can't you just leave us alone?
Come on, Dawn, you're just upsetting yourself.
Wasn't his death enough for you? Can't you just leave us alone now?
Oh, Dawn, listen to yourself. I understand your grief, but you're not making sense.
I'm not? Well, just look around. What's left? What else do you want, Mr. Wheeler? The nails from the walls? The air he breathed? The blood?
All right, let's go.
Mom, what are you doing in Mike Marshall's house anyway?
This is your son? This is Dennis?
That's right. I guess I don't have to ask who you are, do I? Nobody else could make her act like this.
Son, you just walked through the last act of a tragedy. You can't judge by what you've seen. You don't know what happened.
Listen, if you think you can bully me around the way you bully everyone else, then you can just forget.
Dennis, how can you? Can't you see that Alex... Darling, excuse us for a moment. I want to speak to Dennis and talk.
If you think that will change things.
Well, congratulations. I see you have some control over the beast.
I'm sorry if our appearance here has so terribly disturbed you, Tom. It wasn't his intention or mine, I assure you. I didn't even realize this was Mike's house.
Then why did he bring you here?
He wanted to make this house a gift to me.
He wants to buy my father's house? No. No, never. I'll see him dead first.
Mom, you can't really be considering accepting such a gift from him.
I know that some people do hold Alex responsible for Mike's breakdown. But that is based simply on the fact that Mike owed Alex's company millions of dollars, not on anything Alex did to hurt your father.
Then maybe you haven't heard the whole story. Alex promised to meet Daddy at Vicki Bellman's party. But when Daddy went there to find him, Alex was gone. Daddy looked all over for him, but Alex had left. He was probably off somewhere laughing at how badly he'd humiliated Daddy.
No, surely not.
And then Daddy just gave up. It broke him. It was one humiliation too many. And he went home.
Dawn, I was there that night, but I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't see Alex. Victoria didn't understand what happened either, but I'm sure Alex can explain. That's it, I'll call him.
No, don't bother.
But perhaps he can make
It wouldn't matter. He could explain it till hell freezes over, and it still wouldn't change what I know. I never want to see Alex Wheeler again as long as I live. And I never want to hear his excuses. You can stay if you want to, since it seems to matter to your mother. But I'm leaving.
Oh, Dennis, please, wait. It is very important to me that you and Alex come to understand one another. You don't know, you really just don't understand him yet.
I think I understand him, Mom. More than I have to.
Dennis, please. No, Brian, don't leave me. I'm desperate and I don't have anyone else to turn to.
You could turn to Alex.
No, I can't tell him. Please help me.
I'm trying to. But so far, all I've gathered is there's something Alex doesn't know, and whatever it is, it's keeping you apart.
That's true.
Well, what is it?
It's Dennis.
Dennis? You mean Alex doesn't know you have a son?
No, he knows Dennis is my son. What he doesn't know is that Dennis is his son, too. Oh.
made it, baby sister.
Did you think we weren't coming?
I knew you'd be.
Look here, Nita. We even got decent tires on this thing.
Well, I like this car. It's real pretty. Well, for a car, that is. Well, not that I know much about cars. Billy Joe can tell you that. I guess I get it from my daddy. He was a travel man, you know. And he used to say, the only thing you can say about a car is it'll get you there or it won't. The rest is what he would call just
Hooey,
a lot of...
that was your old man's favorite word.
Well, golly, look at all these decorations. Reminds me of those old-time ice cream trucks. You remember those, Billy Joe?
That's it, ice cream trucks. That's what you ought to take up driving. Now, they'd be a little closer to your speed, now, wouldn't they?
Man, you're really something.
Yep.
Didn't you learn anything from your little vacation in Huntsville?
Yeah, I learned some real handy tricks. You want to try me, huh?
I won't have you fighting, Billy Joe.
This won't take long, darling.
Won't take but a second.
Now stop it, both of you. Billy Joe, let's go to the stands and find ourselves
Find your
seats.
own seat. Oh, what the hell? Feel your own self, Copper. I'll be watching.
I'm real sorry. I guess the bus ride made him all edgy. It was so long and hot. Well, anyway, you have a good ride. And all the luck in the world, you hear?
Yeah, thanks, Nita.
That goes double for me, Ricky. Even if I do make fun of your car sometimes. I don't know how you do it, but you manage to work for the sheriff and do this, too. You really deserve to win.
Yeah, well, it's too bad you don't win a race just for deserving to. Guess the big prize always goes to the fella who gets there first.
Understand it. You get along just fine with other folks. Why can't you get along with Ricky? He's a real nice person.
Nita, he's no person. He's a cop. I spent 3 lousy years in that Huntsville prison, and there was a screw there looked and talked just like him. Thinks he's God's gift to the world.
Just because he looks like someone else?
Cops are cops, baby. Wish I could have had a few minutes under that hood. Boy, I'd give these blood freaks a run for their money. For sure.
Billy Joe.
Yeah, I was just kidding, okay? Now pipe down, the warm-ups are starting.
Up a little bit, too. Right. 3, mark your spot and get to the pit under the south bleachers. We're going to do a driver interview. I'll meet you there in 5 minutes.
That's interesting. I didn't know that cameramen did interviews as well.
They don't. They just do the taping.
Oh, and you do the regular question and answer business, huh?
Not on your life. I am the producer, the director, and the chief babysitter.
Lou?
No way. Lou has to stay here and prepare the narration in case you get stuck on the air.
Me?
You.
Well, wait a minute. You're not going to start him on camera his first day here, are you?
Oh, not to worry, Lou. Not even a day's experience, but he doesn't need it. He knows a lot about sports. Isn't that right? And besides, he's terrific. He told me so himself. Come on, Mr. Terrific. Let's go find a contender for you to interview.
Whatever you say, boss.
They've left?
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Tired. Confused.
I should have known. But I thought... I had high hopes for this day when it started. Now it's all been ruined.
Oh, Alex, that child.
It's my fault. I should have known the state of things. You see, I had Stryker negotiating to buy the house for you. And his office had made excellent progress with the family. And I thought that the entire thing had been formulated, completed. But you see, Kate Marshall hadn't talked about the matter with Dawn yet.
Dawn's reaction isn't the worst of it. She has obviously already managed to infect Dennis with this prejudice she has against you.
I saw.
Dennis can be so stubborn when he thinks he has the truth in his hands. He's seeing the world through Dawn's eyes, and that's awful. For him, for us.
What he feels about Dawn is understandable. Maybe I don't know much about parents and children. But perhaps you can talk with him and give him a different point of view about me. After all, his heart can't be so set in stone against me as Dawn's.
To do that, Alex, there is something I will need to know. If I don't understand it, I will never be able to make Dennis understand it.
Just ask. I won't hold any secrets from you.
That night at Vicky's party, what happened? Why didn't you meet with Mike Marshall as you said you would? I mean, if it weren't for that incident, no one could even think of blaming you for the fact that he shot himself that same night. Why didn't you stay, talk to Mike?
It was perhaps childish, in retrospect. But suddenly you showed up, and...
Oh, no.
I just wasn't ready to meet you then and there. Not that way.
Oh, Alex.
I know it does seem foolish. But I got that same feeling that overtook me at the opera. I saw you, and my heart started pounding. All I could think to do was run, and to try to assimilate the fact that you were suddenly real and not a dream anymore.
Well, I should have thought you'd have gotten over the shock by then. After all, you saw me at the opera. You sent me the iris in that lovely vase. Alex, was that really your only reason for leaving?
Oh, Iris. I didn't mean to hurt Mike, to slight him in the least. It had nothing to do with him. But I left the party and I was unstrung, blind. I didn't even remember I was supposed to see Mike. Please, believe me.
Stay tuned for the next part of Texas.
What is this big thing?
That's my new air filter.
Oh.
Not in the slightest. Hey, I can't
Are
believe...
you Ricky Decker?
Sure. Can I help you folks?
I'm Justin Marshall, and this is Samantha Walker. We are from KVIK TV Sports.
Hi.
Hi. That's where I must have met you before.
Yes, yes. If you have a moment, we'd like to interview you.
Okay.
All right. How about we set up over here and use the car as a nice background for a two-shot? Okay? Can we just do it with Mr. Decker? Okay. Mr. Decker, can you close your hood? How about you sit on your hood? Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, I think that looks great.
Hey, look over there. They're interviewing Ricky for the TV. Oh, I bet you'll be on tonight. Remind me to tell Maggie, what station is that?
JERK, I reckon. Remind me. I don't want to watch the news tonight.
Oh, Billy Joe, what's wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong at all. I just don't want to see that roach's face on my TV set, if I can help it.
You're running a very unusual 3/4 mile opening race today, Ricky. Now, your best time for a flat quarter mile is 8.2. How do you think that the race will be affected by this extra distance?
Oh, it'll separate us out for sure. Man, I'm worried about in the stretch, though, is old Sonny Dunham. I hear he's got his rig up to 13 gears.
13?
That's what I hear.
Well, even so, past 6, don't you equal out in RPMs?
You know I do, Justin. Man, I can't keep playing. I know for a fact anybody watching would rather hear what you got to say than me. Come on, I'll interview you.
Hold it, cut. I don't get it. What are you talking about?
I'm just speaking for myself, but Justin here's always been my hero.
Your hero?
Well, yeah, he's one of the top racing drivers in the world, lady. Didn't you know that? Didn't you ever hear of Justin Marshall?
I feel so good. I'm just going to pretend you're not following.
Woman, can't you do anything right?
As a matter of fact, I can do everything right. Oh, silly me. There's nobody here talking to myself.
Did you take a look at that thermometer before you went gallivanting out there?
Why? Everyone can see that it's hot.
Haven't you got more sense than to ride Lady Gray in the ground the hottest part of the day?
Oh, it wasn't that hot.
Well, not for you, it wasn't. You weren't doing any of the work. But you banged Lady around like it was a crisp October morning. So when he didn't kill her.
I can take care of my own horse, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to Kate about taking Lady back from you.
You can't do that.
And you can't do what you just did. That horse is so lathered and weak at the knees, it's one I don't have to...
I'm not going to listen to you anymore. You're not going to spoil my day again. I felt like running, that's all. I felt like going as fast as I could so not a single bad vibration in the whole world could touch me. And it didn't, not until I got back here anyway.
Like 2 peas in a pod.
What?
You and Justin. No one of you two used to get on so good together. Can't read the speed limit. Wouldn't care if you could. Ain't got concern for a thing outside yourselves. All the other critters around you be damned.
If I wanted analysis, I'd go see a shrink.
Laws weren't made for you, eh, babe? When you want something, you just go and get it. Even if you have to ride the whole world down on the way there.
That's right, honey. You're talking like there's a better way to live. Do you know of one offhand?
You're damn right.
Well, suppose you tell me about it. What do you do when you want something? I bet you just go find yourself a quiet little corner and pray your little old heart out.
I guess you could say that's what I do. And if it's a good crop I'm praying for, I go and plant it. And if it's a fine colt, I pick and choose. Make sure its mama's been bred right. And if it's a woman, that's what I do.
Dad!
If I wanted her.
Oh! You come right back here this minute!
Sorry, I got a more important female to see right now. That mare you just about killed.
Oh, you!
You're just gonna have to wait your turn.
Oh! 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 Oh!
Well, that takes care of the auction. Now you can move on. Start thinking about what's ahead instead of looking at what's behind you.
Will you be moving on too, Dennis? Leaving town now that you've done your duty?
What? No, I don't have any plans to go anywhere.
Oh? Well, then maybe you could find a big job at World Oil Transport. I'm sure your mother could arrange it.
No. Actually, I was hoping that I could buy the Western Art Gallery.
Buy Western art? But you never said anything.
I've been so busy with the auction and everything else that I haven't had time to look into it. And I didn't want to say anything until I knew if it was a possibility or not.
You mean?
How would you feel about working for me? Now, I warn you, I'm serious. I expect 100% from my employees.
You aren't kidding, are you?
100%. Or nothing.
Oh, Dennis, I'd give you 150%. And I'd throw in weekends. Then you won't be leaving town?
No way. And I'm certainly not going to leave you. Absolutely no way. Besides, the great state of Texas needs me, you know.
Oh, it really does.
And even if the state of Texas could get by without me, I'm not going to give it a chance to. Because I have a feeling this is where I belong. Where I've always wanted to be.
You could do worse.
Yeah, I could do worse.
Then you won't be leaving me?
Without you, I wouldn't be anything. Or anywhere. I'd be like a man lost in the desert. That's what I'd be like. I'm with you now. And I'll be with you forever.
Black, huh?
You have a wonderful memory.
Hardly.
You must. I don't think I've been here since...
Not since Courtney brought you out here to Christmas dinner. So, tell me about this new idea of yours to buy the Western Art Gallery. You said you were going into private practice.
Yeah. I've decided to specialize in people instead of gadgets. The gallery give me a good location.
Well, sounds like a good idea to me. After all, Dawn is too young and too inexperienced to hope to keep the place going without Michael's money to back her. Well, I'd be very glad to help a nice young man like you. The world needs more people, doctors. Now, does this mean you're going to leave the hospital staff altogether?
Except for consultations.
Does that mean you and Courtney won't be working together anymore? I hope not.
Just about. I did ask her to go into practice with me as my partner. But she has other plans. She's going to work with Kevin Cook on his new postdoctoral surgical program.
You sound like you don't think she ought to be a surgeon.
Oh, no. It's not that. I think surgery's her calling. I just don't think she ought to train for it under Kevin Cook.
I've always heard that Kevin Cook was a fine surgeon.
He is.
Then why don't you think Courtney should study under him?
I didn't really want to get into this.
Well, but since you have.
Since I have. Well, it's not Kevin's medical abilities that's the problem. It's... Well, it's that he and Courtney...
Kate?
Oh, Rena, did you enjoy your ride, honey?
Almost. Kate, I have never been so insulted, so...
Rena, dear, I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
Honey, the ride was wonderful. Lady Gray is such a sweetheart, and riding her was like breathing clear again. I felt so good and clear-headed, and... Oh, when I got back to that stable...
What happened when you got back?
Kate, all I can say is that I think that maybe I'm going to have to move my horse somewhere else.
Is that necessary? After all, this is Lady Gray's home.
Honey, I hate to do it, but it's a matter of self-preservation. I'd like to keep her somewhere where I feel safe.
Safe? Why, it's safe here, especially with Max around.
Safe from exactly that common cowboy and his insolent mouth. I have never met anyone as rude as your foreman. I have never been treated by anyone the way he treats me. So patronizingly, like I was a child or something. Well, I'm just not going to put up with it.
But, Rena...
And you can't talk me out of it either.
Rena, I would have thought that the way you and Kevin feud, you could take any hard words a man might dish out.
Kevin never treated me that way.
He didn't?
No, there's all the difference in the world. Kevin can be sullen and grouchy, but that's just the way men are. Maybe even when he was that way, I could handle him. I could usually get him to do anything I wanted, like moving to Houston, for example. But this Max, whatever his name is,
Now, Rena, you know very well his name is Decker.
Rena, did it ever occur to you that Kevin might have another reason for wanting to stay in Houston?
Another reason?
Besides your wanting him to?
No, that never occurred to me. What kind of a reason were you thinking about?
Like,
cousin?
for instance... Never mind. Kate, I'm going to be going now.
Well, I'll get in touch with you right away if I get any more information on the gallery property.
Thanks a lot. I'll see you, Rena.
Bye, Bart.
Rena, I'll talk to Max for you. I'll ask him to go a mite easier on you. After all, he does have him a streak of righteousness. But all in all, he's as good a man as the Lord ever dropped into a pair of boots. Rena.
You know what, Kate?
You'll leave Lady Gray.
The more I think about it, the more I think little old cousin Bart was trying to send me a message.
Huh?
Yeah, I think that's it. He's seen something, maybe. Something going on at the hospital between my husband and somebody.
I don't know about that.
Neither do I, but I mean to find out, come hell or high water. If there's some squatter trying to move in on my property, I better get in and look the situation over before some claims get staked. See you in a little while, honey.
Take care, Rena.
I'm not the one that's gonna need it. Ta-ta.
Feeling better?
Of course. I always feel good when you hold me. Your arms are kind of like a home for me. I feel good in them. Safe and reassured. Can I have them back for a minute? Nice.
You know, I'd like to hold you right there all night. But there are some odds and ends to look into back at the house.
Oh, Dennis.
Now,
no.
relax. I'll take care of all of it. You've done your part, more than your part. Besides, it's my job anyway, right?
Only because you're good enough to do it.
Anyway, it's time for you to get back to the ranch, isn't it? Hmm?
Yes, I suppose I have to.
Okay. What's the matter?
Well, the ranch is where I spent my childhood. I used to look so forward to going out there. I'd pack my bags 3 days early when we'd go out to spend the weekend, and I could hardly wait. But, well, now I'm grown. I wish I could stay here with you.
Listen, you may think you're grown, but you better get back to that ranch, or your grandmother's going to be very upset. With both of us.
You're right. But
enough has happened today. Now you get home. Get some rest. Go on, get.
I love you.
Stay tuned for the conclusion of Texas.
Hey, let me just shake your hand, partner. I had no idea that, well, I mean, we didn't know that you were the Justin Marshall.
I was.
Welcome to the KVIK sports team. We're sure proud to have you.
Thanks.
Sam, what's going on around here? Why didn't you tell everybody about this coup of yours?
Oh, I had a very good reason.
I got it. Didn't want to tip off the competition ahead of time, right? Very smart. Justin Marshall. You know what? You're going to give this operation just what it needs. A nice little touch of class.
All right, superstar. Let's see if you can burn up the tracks on a TV tape. And since you're our entree into class, I'm going to let you narrate this race. Ready?
Hello, racing fans, and all you sportsmen out there on this fine, hot summer day. This afternoon, we're bringing you the Harris County Devils Invitational Stock Car Races, and we've got a great racing card on for your viewing pleasure. But first, let me tell you about a little surprise from KVIK to you. I want to introduce my new colleague who's joined us just in time to do the honors in today's races. And fans, he's none other than Houston's own Justin Marshall. That's right, winner of this very race some 10 years ago, and one of the truly world-class drivers of the decade. Here he is, Justin Marshall.
And good afternoon.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Texas.